Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make tiny improvements to your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon. Hello and welcome to this episode. Today I have an awesome interview with my friend Alissa from Twee Partees. And the reason that I have been following Alissa for some time now is because her company is in my hometown where I grew up. So my parents still live in that town, and when I saw her opening a retail location in the mall where I used to work at the Jamba Juice and I used to spend all my time as a teenager, I immediately wanted to see what she had going on. And then it turns out she actually won the space. So I knew that I wanted to talk to her on the podcast. So we are talking all about her pop-up shop that she has in Geneva, Illinois, and she won the space for the entire summer and then has the option to sign a traditional lease after that. And what's awesome about this episode is even if you probably are not going to win a free space, which I can't imagine anyone else is, there are so many tips that Alissa gives in terms of like maybe proposing a pop-up shop location to a mall that has empty spaces or another business that is looking to collaborate or share the space. I know a lot of people are growing out of their home-based businesses right now. So some of these tips and tricks will be really helpful for you. And she shares some tips about making your space aesthetically pleasing, and she has a long history in retail, so it was just an awesome, really fun interview. So we are going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors and then jump right into this interview with Alissa from Twee Partees. If you haven't checked out Havin a Party Wholesale by now, what are you waiting for? They have all of the brands that we know and love as balloon professionals, and they even offer free shipping on orders over $200. So the next time you need balloons, make sure to check them out. You can click the link in the show notes and tell them that the Bright Balloon podcast sent you. All right, welcome to this episode, Twee Partees. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm super excited to be here. I've never been on a podcast before, so I feel like this will be fun. But yeah, my name's Alissa. I started Twee Partees about 2 years ago, probably when most of you started your balloon businesses also. I was a lifestyle blogger for a little while, and during COVID was gifted some balloon garlands and kind of just had fun with them. And I told my husband, I was like, maybe I should start a balloon business. And he thought I was crazy, but here we are 2 years later. So that's pretty much where that story comes from.
That's
But
amazing. And where does Twee Partees come from?
yeah, that's a great question. And actually not as many people ask it as I would think. But so I had like my lifestyle blog for a little while, and it was actually called Twee Blog. Um, many years ago, my aunt and I wanted to open like a denim shop. You know,
Okay.
when like really expensive denim was in style.
Yeah.
And her husband is from England. So I guess in England, twee means like too cute for words, or that's like so twee. Like it's
Oh,
almost like so cute. It's like gaudy in a way, right? Or like too much. So I just kind of ended up using that for my blog. And then when I was started to do balloons, I'm like, well, I should just kind of spin off of that and make everything sort of branded, even though I really didn't know what I was doing. So then I thought Twee Party, right? It kind of rhymes, but
that's so cute. I love it. Well, and you are oddly like in my hometown. So I grew up in St. Charles, which is how we kind of initially connected. And then I saw a post on Instagram where you now have a space at the legendary Geneva Commons where I spent all of my middle school days, not even, probably high school days. It was kind of like our fancy outdoor mall. And my first job was working at the Jamba Juice there. So if it's still there, tell them I'm never coming back.
that's awesome. I do love some Jamba Juice though, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you are now in this super cool situation that I'm so excited to talk about. You have won an opportunity to have a pop-up shop in this mall. And I just want to clarify, like, it's not a strip mall. I mean, it technically is, but it's like a bougie, high-end outdoor mall. And you have a space there. So tell us about this. This was, I saw it on Instagram, and I think my message professionally to you was like, OMG, tell me everything.
Yeah.
Because it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel pretty surreal, to be honest. So back in February, I had someone tag me, the Geneva Commons. They work with a PR company, and they had posted that they were gifting two winners a space for the entire summer, like an actual retail space, to your point, and all we would have to pay for was utilities. So I immediately, the girl that tagged me, I don't think knew that I had kind of been wanting to open a shop or anything, but I didn't even talk to my husband. I just filled out the form and I was like, if I win, I win, and then we can figure that out, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, after we did that, there were 31 like people that I guess submitted, and they took 7 of us as finalists. So we then had to do a panel interview with 6 people. So it was like people from the PR company, one of the Geneva Commons consultants, and then the actual like on-site mall manager. So we had to do that, and then we had to do a showcase back in April. So we kind of had to make a pop-up shop for our business and just really show what we would do in our store. So it was pretty stressful. I mean, it was a lot because I was obviously doing installs and things like that. And that particular day that we had the showcase, I obviously wanted to be on site for this because it was a big deal, but I already had booked installs. And occasionally I do have girls that will kind of work with me on the installs, but I hadn't gotten any of them to help me because I didn't think I needed them, you know? So luckily, one of my balloon friends totally had my back and went and did the install for me. So it was like a lifesaver. But anyways, yeah. And then after that, they ended up selecting 5 of us to take spaces. 2 of the people dropped out, and I guess they just figured we might as well fill up these spaces. So it's kind of crazy. So there's like 5 of us. We communicate a little bit. It's a lot, you know, from dealing with the city to business permits, to filling up our spaces and just,
Yeah. I mean,
you
like, you have a full retail location now with like a front door and all the space. Did they indicate why they were doing this?
So that was definitely my first question. I was like, is this to get more people to come to the commons? Is it to fill the spaces? And they said that they truly just need to have tenants. So
Yeah.
there were probably, I want to say there was probably like 12 open spaces. And it's funny because they're very spread out, and you know this area. You almost wouldn't notice if you weren't looking, right?
Right.
But yeah, so their main goal is to get us to remain tenants later. So of course, that probably brings up like how much would the rent be, right? Because that
Yes,
was
that was my
my
next question.
next question. So, you know, I gave them kind of some numbers that I had considered for, you know, in the back of my mind for spaces, and just from some numbers that we had crunched. And they said it's very, very negotiable because they truly want to fill the spaces, and they felt that giving small businesses an opportunity would help do that. So,
Yeah, that is so interesting because I'm a big advocate of home based, but I also have this weird house that has a little shop attached to it. And I know home based businesses aren't a reality for a lot of people. Like, you don't just have extra rooms in your house, or like I was working out of my basement, and like that was a huge pain just getting the balloons up the stairs. But you know, then the next kind of step is sometimes like warehouse space. But now I feel like there is kind of this movement back to retail, just because if you're going to rent the space for the same price anyway, why not have visibility? You know, like maybe limit the hours. That's my next question too. Like, do you have to be open then from like nine
yeah.
to five, or can you set your own hours? What does that look like?
Yeah, so actually, too, to kind of tie into that, something I should have shared earlier is that my whole career background in the past is retail management. So
Mm.
I worked for like the Gap Inc. family of brands for many years, too many to admit out loud because that would show my age. So I am like super familiar with brick and mortars and running stores. So that was something. So I've always wanted to open a store. So that's kind of where, you know, this contest was like a no-brainer, and why my husband and I, we actually met working in retail. So
Okay.
it's kind of like part of what, you know, just like who we are and things like that. But so that was the hours was another question of mine, because having worked for bigger retailers in an actual mall, I mean, you had to stick to their mall hours.
Right.
So what they pretty much said was, as long as you stick to the hours that you post, we're fine with anything.
Okay.
Because there's just so many staffing shortages with COVID and things like that. So um, as of now, my plan, and I still have like a week and a half to actually post this, so this could definitely change. But as of now, the shop will be closed Sundays and Mondays. There are quite a few stores that are closed on Sundays here at the Commons, so I feel okay with that decision. Also, I know we'll be doing on-site installs those days,
Hmm.
whether it's me or someone else. And then Saturdays we'll probably do like 8 to 1 or 2, I'm thinking, because we have a lot of installs in the summer in the afternoon. And as of now, it really is a true like pop up, even though it's in here. I do hope to stay. I really want to stay. The summer will be very telling.
Yeah.
And then during the week, though, I think we're gonna do 9:30 to 6 because I really want to capture. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and when you drop your kids off at school or camp, like there's always this lag time of when stores open.
Yeah.
So I want to try to capture that like 9:30 to 10 a.m. Kind of time frame.
Okay, so I have two more questions. One is about your staffing and how you're going to staff a location and also do installs. And then my other question is what all are you going to sell?
Yeah, those are great questions. And I definitely kind of have answers, but still figuring out some of it. So, as of right now, I will be the main person in the shop. I wish I was more operationally sound to have someone else here to really answer all of the questions. Um, but my plan is to kind of be on site, and I showed you obviously kind of the workroom space is going to be in the back. So, my plan is really to be here like 8 to 6 those days. So I'll be able to like knock out some of the airfield stuff I need to do. And then I do have a couple of girls that work with me for installs. I typically go with them at this point, but I am trying to get them very well trained right now so that I feel more comfortable sending them out on their own. So
Yeah.
um, I will primarily be in the retail space to answer your question and then hopefully get them like, really well versed in all the different things with installs, which we know is different every single time. So how can you fully train someone?
Yeah, yeah, it is. You have to be really trusting. And then what like are you doing more than balloons in the shop?
Oh yes, sorry. So yeah, so I have a balloon bar. I definitely want to really do a lot of helium filled items, just fun things to kind of be a little bit different than Party City, right? We want to be more
Mhm.
boutique like. Definitely some jumbos. I still haven't tried Kelsey's confetti jumbos yet. I am part of Fox Creative Share and I watched it and I was pretty mind blown. I won't give out all the secrets, but she definitely
Yeah,
did it.
no, her technique's really good.
It is, and I was like, no wonder mine don't turn out like that. That makes sense. But so I do want to do like just fun blue. Like they don't have to be jumbos. They don't have to be 36-inch, but maybe even a lot of like 18-inch, 24-inch, things like
Mhm.
that. I just want people to be able to come in and have fun with that. But I am starting to purchase a lot of retail items. One of the first things I ordered were Festive Gal, her crowns.
Okay.
I've used them in the past, and I just think they're so fun. For like a girls' trip we had a couple years ago, and she's awesome. I got a lot of like little candy jars for like helium weights.
Okay.
And then because we're a pop up in Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day, I snagged like a ton of like paper goods and like party favor type things. So plates, napkins, straws, banners, cups. And then I did end up like Happy Day Party Shop or Oh Happy Day.
Yeah.
They got a lot of their fun, like colorful plates, napkins, candles, things like that. Because I'm thinking, a lot of my client base is moms. It's a lot of like
Mhm.
kids' birthday parties, graduations, milestone birthdays, right? Everybody's is. So if they come in and grab balloons, I want them to be like, oh, the candle, I forgot the candle. And let me grab
Right.
some more napkins, just any kind of add ons. But I did
Very cool.
order a couple t-shirts too, because soft lines is in my blood and I couldn't help it.
Oh my gosh. Listen to you. You're using so many cool words. You've convinced me. I'd give you a space. How
Right?
okay. So I'm gonna be nosy. Like, because I know the area, it's expensive.
Yeah.
What do you anticipate if you continue on in the shop? Like several $1,000s a month? I would think it'd be a lot.
I mean, I guess so. I think it's funny because my husband the other day was in here. I mean, he's here every day. So are my kids, and they like are like, oh, we have to go back there again. Like,
Yeah,
you guys wanted me to win. Why is everybody so mad that you have to stop there?
it's
But he
funny.
was like, you need more stuff in here to sell. And I was like, trust me, I've ordered a lot. It's coming. It will be here
Yeah.
any day. It's all shipping. Um, you know, I don't know, Sarah. I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. I
Well,
mean,
and I guess the better question is you have this amazing summer to like really test it out. What
yeah.
do you hope to see in order to stay? Like what is your goal at the end of the summer, like come September to be like this is absolutely the location for me?
Yeah. I think a big part for me is to like want to be here, right? Like
Mhm.
I want at the end of the summer to know that this is what I still want to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Aside from like any of the financial part of it, like is this working for me and my family? Is this working for the customers? And like is it filling my cup? I know that sounds ridiculous, but
No, that's everything. Why would
you
that sound
know, like
ridiculous?
um you know, when I worked retail, I loved everything about retail, but I always said, God, I wish I didn't have to be there on Sundays. And like,
Mhm.
so I know like now it's kind of awesome that I can make that decision and obviously go on site and do something. Or if somebody needs to pick up helium that morning, that's fine. I'll stop in here. I live 5 minutes away. It's like, it's great, you know? So I think aside from anything financial, it's really just like, is this working for my family and I? And like in the past 2 years, I mean, it has worked and I've like loved it. Of course, sure, it's a job. I've complained sometimes, right? Something might not have gone as planned, but yeah, I think the biggest thing is definitely going to be like if I'm still like just really wanting this because it's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Ordering, I haven't stopped working since I found out. Like every night I'm on the computer, like buying something or, you know, to sell or ordering something to like make the aesthetic look nicer and, you know, just everything. So,
Yeah, no, I think lifestyle is 100%. It's everything. Like I make compromises in my business to make my life better because it's like why are we doing this if it's just to work another job? You know? Like
right.
what is the point? Like it's easier to work for someone else. It's easier to go and be a manager of a store that's not yours because you can just leave and be like whatever. But it's yeah, I think that's awesome that your ultimate goal is like do I want to do this? Is so simple. Um I want to put you on the spot a little bit because my favorite part of doing this podcast is asking the questions that help me.
Yeah.
I'm selfish. Um, with your retail background, so I have this little shop attached to my house, and it is not retail. It's a studio slash pickup, but it's not cute. I've been there for a year, and it's still not cute. And I'm already jealous looking at your shop. Like, it looks like a store. So, with your background, like, what are the things that people can do to like zhuzh up their space to make it welcoming and give that kind of retail professional vibe without having, like racks and racks of merchandise?
Yep. Well, first of all, I saw you do a shop tour recently, and I actually think your space is looking really, really cute. So
Thank you.
I think,
It's been a year already. And when I went in, I was like,
yeah.
oh, I'm going to have like a mural and I'm going to have a disco ball and cute stuff. And now I'm like, nope, just balloons everywhere.
Well, it's funny you say that because I already like I said, have spent so much more money than I anticipated because everything to make things look cute costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first thing is paint, which I actually opted not to do because it was $3,000 to get this place painted. It's 2,000 square foot in here.
Yeah.
That reminds me, the Geneva Commons also gifted us $3,500. I totally forgot to add
That's
that
amazing.
to build out our space. So that is obviously anything. So if we don't stay here, anything that we turn in receipts for has to stay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping to like, I've gotten tons of quotes and it's not going to be ready in time, but I'm hoping to get like the outside, like the awning, and I'm getting a sign made
Oh,
just
cute.
because I just feel like that kind of marketing is really important in this type of area. But sorry, to go back to that question. So I think paint is the first thing. I feel like you've done that though. I mean, in any kind of like removable wallpaper, like any kind of just photo backdrop, right? So it doesn't have to be a mural, but um, I mean, even having some kind, because you have a lot of people do pickups, right?
Well, I do now. I started doing these grab
Yeah.
and goes, and every single time I'm like, I wish this was done. I wish that looked cute.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like make it so when you walk in, it's like, oh, kind of boutiquey, even though it's not. It's just my space, but I
Yeah.
want it to be cute.
No, for sure. I mean, and the other thing, like I ordered a couch right away. It's still not here. We're having some shipping issues, but I feel like to make it just kind of look cozy. But I
Hmm.
think those are the biggest things. I think like paint any kind of wallpaper. I mean, honestly, from a customer perspective, just having all those balloons that other people are picking up, they're probably like, this is so cute.
I
You know
know.
what I
Sometimes I
mean?
feel like, yeah, I almost blow up balloons early just so they're there. Because when it's empty and
Right.
there's like one garland, it looks kind of goofy. But yeah, totally. When it's full of everyone's colorful
Yeah.
garlands, it looks so festive.
I mean, I guess though, to answer that question too, like just really being on brand, like
Yeah.
so maybe just like all one color or just anything that, yeah. Or do you have like Wisconsin Balloon Decor? Do you have like a logo, like a sign up or anything
I
inside?
have it. So yeah, I have on my door, I have like a big glass window on it. It was like a, what was it? Like a carpet cleaning guy. He was like a mobile carpet cleaning place. So he just like kept his machines in there. So like it
Mhm.
does have a little bit of a like more, not retail, but like storefront type of look. So there's a big glass door that I did just like vinyl and I cut out just like a solid color. We got to work on the outside too. I just want it to be more welcoming. Because I have like this weird little parking lot and a separate door, separate entrance. But even the stuff you were saying about like a little awning or maybe some potted
Yeah.
plants outside. I'm trying to just like up my game inside because I'm
Yeah.
just looking at your greenery backdrop and your neon sign and your pillows. It's so cute.
Amazon. I did order the neon. I've actually had the neon for a while. I ordered it because I was like, honestly, probably a year and a half ago, and I just had it in my guest bedroom that I was working out of, and I was like, someday when I get a store, that's the first thing that's going up.
It's so cute. Well, what is okay? So let's talk about the difference too, because people who are listening, I know there's so many people right now who are still working out of their home, which is not ideal. If you're in a bedroom or you're in a basement, or it's hard to get the balloons out. It's hard to get helium in. It's weird to have people pick up. So I know there are a lot of people looking for spaces. So even though they're not all going to like hit the jackpot and get this amazing gift that you have, what type of things are you like noticing a difference? Like what would you tell people to look for in a space if they're trying to find a rental location?
Yep. So, two of the things you said right away. So, first of all, I was working on our main floor when I first started in what was at the time my husband's office. And I then, after like 6 months, moved to our guest bedroom upstairs. And then I was taking like our formal living room or family room or whatever that was. Once I would blow up, I'd throw them down the stairs, they'd go there. And getting helium tanks upstairs was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I had them like attached to the wall and things like that. So, I would say the biggest things, and this is not even doesn't have anything to do with the space, but something that's already changed for me that I feel like is important to share. And I wanted this, but I told myself like if I have a shop, I'll be able to work during those hours versus like all the time. Because I would blow up balloons like later at night once we got done with dinner and things like that. So now the other morning I went to go in my office to get on my computer and I was like, nothing's here. I forgot I had even left my computer at the shop. So, for me, I think it was kind of trying to find that work life balance. I've obviously been working a lot, but it is nice to kind of leave the balloons somewhere else. That's just kind of separate from what you're asking, but kind of the same.
No, that's interesting.
Um,
So you like that. You like that separation because I know some people really do. I really like being able to like go out and blow up balloons when my daughter's napping or like eat dinner and then go out and finish a job. Like I
yeah.
like being able to blow up balloons in my pajamas.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm not sure if I like it yet, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted that, right? But I don't know. It's felt weird. I know I'll be here more consistently though once the shop opens. So I think that will feel nice. But yeah, so things that I was really looking for because we were looking for a space prior to the contest. So I wanted the customers to be able to pull up and park, right?
Yeah,
So whether,
absolutely.
right? I'm sure everyone's thought of this. And like this has double doors here, which is really great. They can pull up in the front, put their hazards on, and it's really easy for people to go around. Or we do have a back door, so people can pull up to the back, which is nice. A lot of places like in downtown Geneva, which you're familiar with, and I'm sure a lot of places, a lot of other balloon artists in different cities would run into this, but there wasn't really parking and things like that. So that was the number one thing. I was really looking out for the customer and the ease of like getting them the product, because
Absolutely.
I do really want to start doing a lot more customer pickups, obviously. Gas is expensive, right?
Yeah, for real, for real.
And then the second thing for me was really having like a good workspace in the building with the retail too, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
I like about my space is it's really just one big long rectangle. And then we are building a wall like basically in the dead center of it. So um, and ironically, there was an existing cash wrap here. So this space used to be a gymboree.
Okay.
Um, and I hated the cash wrap at first. And that was the first thing I wanted to get rid of. And then I was like, gosh, it's so functional.
What is that for those of
Oh,
us that only have ever worked at Jamba Juice and
yes.
don't know what a cash wrap is?
Great question. Where the registers were, but now it's just all these square things, so they don't really need all that space. But when I say functional, it's got drawers. It's got a drawer for a garbage can. It's got
Oh, okay.
slots for shopping bags. It has like outlets that are hidden, so I can just throw my computer up here. Like, I'll show you, Sarah. But see how like the bags can just sit right there,
Right. Oh, it's
no,
cute. Did you paint it pink?
right? Yes, we did. My husband helped me. Um, so yeah, it's great. It's great. So for me, kind of embracing the existing stuff, because what I realized very quickly was to replace something like a cash wrap is a lot of money, and to get
Yeah.
rid of the cash wrap, just because then there'd be electric and things like that. There's slat walls in here that I immediately wanted to get rid of, but then I thought, gosh, these are also super functional. So I hung the mosaics that I sometimes reuse just on the wall like that.
That looks great. I kind of want to put walls in my shop just again for functionality. Like they're not pretty, but like you can move things and you're not
Mhm.
drilling a million holes. And they're actually, you can get big panels of it. I just saw it at the hardware store. You can buy like a 5x5 sheet of slat wall and just screw it right into the wall. So I might just grab some and experiment, because I do all of my balloons in like the clear jars, but sometimes I need an extra shelf or I want to move them around, and they're drilled into my wall right now. So I'm wanting more flexibility.
100%. And actually, I listened to your foil balloon. Was that on the Patreon maybe?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And I loved it because I also have like a foil balloon graveyard. It's horrible.
They're yeah, unwrapped, they're just a nightmare. They're
Oh,
so hard to store.
yep. So even whether retail or not, a slat wall is so great because I'm able to hang them all on these like little hooks, and I can actually see what I have.
Yeah.
So I think the functionality of the space, but I feel like for us, other than really being able to like hang certain things, I feel like it truly is just having a big space, right? Because I thought 2,000 square foot was so big, split it in half, and I was doing balloons for a high school like senior breakfast. So I just did like my 10-foot arch. Actually, it's bigger than that, whatever. And two standalone columns for like a football field. And all of a sudden, the whole space was filled up. So
Yeah.
I think for us, we forget how much space we can actually use.
Yeah. Are you having a grand opening?
Yeah, so actually next Wednesday night we're doing like a VIP like first look or whatever. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to open by Memorial Day because the city we have to get like all of our permits finalized and stuff. But I don't want to change the date because I feel like we've already got some fun stuff lined up. So.
Are you facing some competition? Hi, I'm Jeff from Asset Lab, and we help balloon decor businesses stand out online and generate more leads, more phone calls, and more contact form submissions through great online marketing. We can help you with your website, social media, advertising, Google search, you name it. We've helped balloon decor businesses with it. Learn more about us at assetlab.us.
The last question I have, I guess I'm hearing the word pop up everywhere. Like I'm seeing balloon bars popping up all over. How do you define this pop up shop trend? Does that just mean it's not permanent, or what is your definition of that?
Yep. So I actually typically viewed pop up as like for like a day or a weekend or something, right? So
So I've
Valentine's,
always interpreted it as like in another business too. Like if I were
yeah,
to do a pop up shop at a boutique for
yep.
balloons.
Exactly. So, before this contest even came up, which the timing of all of this was ironic. There's like a super cute coffee shop in town. So I had reached out, and for Valentine's Day, I was like, "Hey, I had this idea to do like a helium pop-up shop." So, it was really fun. I just did it for like 4 hours that day, and it was kind of a test for me to see if I'd even want a store. And it was super busy. So many people came to support me, which was so awesome. Just like clients and friends. But yeah, it was for a day. So for me, I viewed it as kind of a test for myself. I viewed it as like another form of marketing because there were people that I had never met that just happened to be getting coffee that day. And then, yeah, I guess just to get more business, right? To pop up
Hmm.
and, you know, have fun items for people. But I agree with you. I do feel like I'm seeing a lot of people pop up in businesses and they're actually like staying in them and stuff like that. But I think it's because we're all small business owners and it just seems fitting to like not have to pay for a full rent on your own, right?
Yeah.
And almost like sharing a space. I mean,
Yeah, it's
there's
almost like you could even host a pop-up now in your space
right.
for like a cupcake place or something.
100%. So it's funny you say that. I have like I want to do a couple workshops here. Like a charcuterie one because I've got tons of space and I know a girl, she's an influencer that's local, but she's like a crafting influencer. So she does
Okay.
stuff with like Michael's, Joanne Fabrics, and she does like the awesomest things. So we're gonna kind of plan some kind of like craft thing, right? I'm not sure. I'm gonna let her decide what she wants to do, but
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, and I'm just thinking like people who are listening can just gain so much from this. Like things that I've thought of since you've, been chatting about this. Like again, are you going to win a contest and get a free space for the summer? Zapprobably not. But like maybe check out these malls that have empty spaces. And who did you say managed this? Their PR company?
So Zapwater is a PR company out of Chicago. So they were like the PR company that was basically like advertising everything, but it's
Right.
Mid-American Management, I believe is the
Okay.
name of it.
So yeah, it's almost like the property management company. Like maybe you can pitch a deal to them and be like, "Hey, let me do this pop-up shop to drum up some business and then almost take your space for a test drive." Like I think people could sell this idea to their local shopping centers.
Yep, 100%. And what's crazy about it is I did not realize, but all of the empty spaces actually had like window decals covering the space, right? And it said for leasing or pop-up opportunities, like reach out. So
Wow, yeah.
I mean, malls are not the same as they used to be, right? So obvious, like they want tenants. I'm sure this is all across the U.S., probably the
You know,
world. You know?
and I have heard too, like, this is not new to me, but for some reason, talking to you, I'm seeing things more clearly. I have heard of people going and checking out malls and getting spaces, but I'm like, I don't know that you want to be inside a mall if there's no other stores. Like, maybe if it's just purely a workspace. But what's cool about your space is like it's a strip mall, so it's visible. So like people can come and go, so you can bring in your own people. You can have visibility from the street. I just think that's so cool that someone could replicate this and kind of create their own opportunity. Because I know spaces are hard to find right now, or like I'm sure they're like $6,000 a month. And if you're 2 years into your balloon business, you're probably not making enough to justify that.
Yep.
But a 3 or 4 month temporary pop up could be a really cool way to get a foot in the door.
Yep. 100%. So we will see what happens, right?
I am so excited for you, and I'm gonna have to come down and visit. I'm actually coming on Sunday, but you're closed, so I
Oh,
will.
well, we could always arrange for that
I gotta
though.
wait till you're actually open. I'll do a sneak attack and come in and order some
Yeah.
balloons. I'm so
You'll be like a
excited.
secret shopper. Except
I'm
I
sure
know
it'll be
you, so.
a great experience. Where can people follow along? Now you have two Instagrams. Where's the best to follow you, and then where can they follow your shop?
Definitely. I know. I hope this wasn't a bad business decision that I ended up adding a second Instagram, but I just thought it kind of deserved its own little space, right, in the
Yeah.
world. So yeah, my main business page is at Twee Partees. So it's TweePartees. And then our balloon boutique is at Twee_a_balloon_boutique. It looked better than all connected. So
Yeah, absolutely. We'll link those two in the show notes so people can just click over. But I am so excited. So when does your agreement with them officially end?
Yep. So September 5th, which I believe is actually Labor Day, is the
Okay.
last date. So I know I had mentioned there were 5 winners, and it sounds like I truly feel like I could be ready for Memorial Day weekend. As long as my permits go through, I feel like I'd rather just be ready, right? I work better under pressure sometimes. Um, but some of the other locations have had some like setbacks just with the city and like what they can do in their space and things.
What
So
were what were some of those locations? I'm just curious.
yeah, no, that's a great question. So one of them is a bagel company, which is awesome. She was doing it
Okay.
out of her house, super popular around here. They're really awesome. 2 clothing stores, and then one is like skincare that she
Oh,
makes. So like all
wow,
natural
very
skincare.
cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
Well, I can't wait to follow along, and I can't wait to see what happens in September and what you think, like how you enjoy it. I'm really curious.
Yeah, me too, right? I hope we have a great summer. I think I'm ready for it. We definitely won't have any vacations this summer, but I don't care. I'm ready to just like dive in and, you know, have fun.
And
So,
go for it. I think the most important thing of the whole interview was you were like, I applied and then I figured we'd figure everything else later. Like I think if people just took that advice, everyone would be better off. I feel like, yeah, why worry about the details until it's even a possibility? Just go for it.
I think, right? Like I kind of dived headfirst into ballooning too. I really,
Yeah,
because my initial idea was to do helium filled bouquets and just to like make people happy, right? We were living in such like uncertain times and Um, but then helium felt like scary, which off the record, I have so many helium questions I could ask you. Um, but no, I think too, air-filled garlands like freaked me out because I thought, how am I going to transport them? They're so big. I mean, I have an SUV, so I don't even use like a van. I've rented many U-Hauls now, obviously. But yeah, I think there were so many uncertainties, but one of my cousins that lives about an hour away she was like, "Can I order balloons from you? I know you said you were thinking about doing it." And I was like, "Yep." And then I just posted on my Instagram and all of a sudden everybody wanted balloons, right?
that's amazing.
So I think I usually do make more educated decisions, I swear, but sometimes I think if you really want something, you just have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's end on that. That's such good advice, and I'm so excited. We will be following along for sure, and maybe we'll have a another episode where we reflect on your pop up summer.
That sounds great. Thanks, Sarah.
All right, thank you. Thanks for joining me in this week's episode. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light in a few minutes or less. If you wish there were more episodes, you are in luck. You can join us in our Patreon group for our monthly book club. I record weekly episodes guiding you through a different self-development book each month. For as little as $3 a month, you can join more than 50 other balloon business owners in our private group. Click the link in the show notes to join us. So many of you have reached out and told me how the podcast has changed your business, and I love hearing those stories. But you might be ready to take things to the next level. If that's you, you should check out the laser-focused Solopreneur course where I walk you through more than 2 hours of video content showing exactly how I run my business as a solopreneur. I run a 6-figure balloon business, I work a full-time job, I have a toddler, and I produce this podcast weekly. And it's not because I'm more efficient than anybody else, it's just because I apply this laser-focused framework to every decision that I make. If you're struggling with work-life balance, figuring out how to grow your business in a manageable way, and feeling like there just aren't enough hours in the day, this course is for you. Check it out using the link in the show notes.